Emtee is regarded as one of the best and most influential figures in the South African music scene.
He really is the person who
is the pioneer.
He's the pioneer. Yeah. He's the pioneer.
And he's the godfather of the shit.
For sure, fully, completely. Yeah. He put me onto this.
However, while still trying to maneuver through the industry, the man has made mistakes that have almost costed him his entire rap career. From losing everything after leaving the controversial record label Ambitiouz Entertainment.
Today we'll be addressing Emtee, his car, his house, repossessed by Ambitiouz Entertainment,
to almost losing his freedom when he was allegedly accused of being a drug addict that physically assaulted his wife.
This is what he did to me. No, why are you hiding that? This is what he did to me. This is what he did to me.
He also accidentally exposed his manhood on Instagram Live in front of hundreds of thousands of fans watching.
We've seen a lot of things go bad on Instagram Live.
Yeah, motherfuckers seen my dick.
Damn.
Well, these are just some of the controversies that Emtee has faced throughout his music career. Today we look at some of his most darkest moments and how he was able to overcome them. This is the redemption of Emtee. Real name Thembeni Ndlovu was born on the 17th of September, year 1992. He landed on this planet on the Eastern Cape province in a small town named Matatiele. But with Eastern Cape being one of the most poorest provinces in South Africa and the fact that it has the highest official unemployment rate in the country, Emtee's parents were forced to look for work in Johannesburg, which then led them to eventually end up settling in Soweto. Now, Soweto itself is not a far cry from what the slums of Matatiele were. Well, see, Soweto itself has the highest level of poverty, unemployment rate, and social inequality. However, there are still some wealthier areas in Soweto too, but tragically it seems like Emtee grew up in the worst parts. First grade of primary school, Emtee has claimed that during his preschool years, he discovered his passion for spitting catchy rhymes when he started participating in musical activities. From joining the choir to taking part in school plays, it seems like Emtee has always been an entertainer, which is something that will play a big role later on in the story. The man completed his high school education at Banato Park High School, which is located in Berea, Johannesburg. During his time in high school, Emtee became the youngest choir conductor, which also earned him a few awards and his first income at the age of just 17 years old. Man was really out here hustling at 17 by any means possible. Now that's what I call grind. No wonder the man calls himself a hustler. However, while doing research on this video, I also discovered that Emtee also won a couple of awards at provincial competitions for his school marimba band. Although not important to the story, but I kind of think it's funny that Emtee used it to play this instrument. I just can't imagine this guy going hard on the marimba. Man was even good at it. I mean, to a point that him and his bandmates were even beating other provinces to actually win these awards. Crazy, huh? But growing up in Johannesburg, Emtee's life was tailor-made for him to identify with what was being molded almost 15,000 kilometers away from him in Atlanta. When trap music was being established in the early 2000s in the United States, the purpose of it was to give an intimate soundtrack to the life of young people who were living in the city streets. But the form eventually became a global language of rap, even inspiring a young Emtee to give up the marimba and start expressing his struggles in the form of trap music.
I once pulled up to Thembeni. I said, Thembeni, what's the reason? I think that was my running question. What's the reason for you to be here or to do this thing? What's the reason? What's the reason? What's the reason? Thembeni, I don't know how to do anything else. Like, I don't know how to do nothing else. I wasn't good at counting. I wasn't good at math. I wasn't good at English. This rap shit is all I got.
He's a musician.
This rap shit is it. If this shit don't work out, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
My man, do you understand when a man is telling you that?
That's uneasy.
Yo.
That's uneasy.
You know what I mean?
In a world where you have to make hits.
I came into the studio and found Ralph, my producer, making this beat. I loved it and I was like, yo, give me this beat. And he was like, nah, I'm going to sell it to so and so. I told him, nah, tell that guy some story. I'm taking this beat and I'm recording on it now. If it sucks, tell me and you can sell it. Before his solo rap career, Emtee was part of a rap trio that called themselves the African Trap Music, or ATM for short.
Emtee the Hustler was, I think he was working on a project. It was DIY, the first one. And then I had some beats that I was trying to give him. So we were already all working with each other and stuff. But he told me this idea idea and this concept that he has for like or rather what he calls his music, or what genre he would classify his music as. And then he was like, nah, my music is African trap music. This is Emtee's invention. He really is the person who...
He's the pioneer.
He's the pioneer. And
he's the godfather of the shit.
For sure, fully, completely. He put me onto this.
The trio was signed to the record label that would eventually almost destroy their entire rap careers, Ambitiouz Entertainment. African trap music is basically a South African trap subgenre that emerged around 2015, with Emtee, Java, Saudi, and Raf being some of the artists who popularized the subgenre. Apart from the lyrics, which are sung mostly in indigenous South African languages, what sets Emtee apart from your regular South African trap artist is how he managed to bring the subgenre home. Lyrically, the artist tells relatable black stories of love, survival, success, and family politics, among others. So when Raf gave Emtee a chance to rap on the beat that day, it only took the big hustler an hour to record the whole song. The man basically did a quick freestyle onto the hard-hitting beat, in the process providing a raw and unique South African flavor to the trap genre. The concept of the song was all over the place, with Emtee agreeing and disagreeing with some of the topics he was rapping about throughout the song. However, that's what made the song become what it became, an instant hit. Roll Up introduced Emtee to the world, even drawing interest from the likes of Wizkid. Wizkid called my manager, who he kind of knows, and told him he wanted to meet with me and make a song. What was initially meant to be Wake on a separate record ended up leading to the remix of Roll Up, which featured the likes of Wizkid and the late rapper aka.
That music video was semi-realistic.
Yeah.
Where I'm dabbing him out.
Authentic.
That was
Authentic,
me
yeah.
dabbing him out for the first time in my life. Yeah, man. R.I.P. to the big dog. And he's one of the people who understood me for who I am. And anytime I made a mistake or faced adversity, you called me and check up on me.
Just a couple of months ago, I was sitting at the crib and I was at a point where I felt like this thing's not gonna work and let me just go find a job. Emtee told a journalist while sitting under a set of bright light in a restaurant in Braamfontein, Johannesburg, with him now looking forward to dropping his debut album, Avery, which was named after his firstborn son, reflecting the profound impact his son had on his life and career.
That was my introduction to the music industry. And it was the time where I had my firstborn son, Avery. So you can imagine, I'm a new father, I'm a new superstar. Roll Up is going crazy. I'm winning 4 awards in one night. I'm flying to Russia, I'm flying everywhere. At that moment, a year earlier, I didn't even know how my future looks.
However, skeptical onlookers who saw him lacking substance to make a lasting impact started trolling him on social media and diagnosed his album a failure even before it was even released. Damn, now that's some next level of hating. But with him having a reputation of responding to people on social media, he just couldn't hold it within himself but trolled back when his album proved the haters wrong. Since people have been saying I'm a one-hit wonder, I decided let me just drop an album, not even a follow-up single. Let's just take that chance, and it worked. My first ever album, Avery, has been #1 on iTunes for the longest time. I'm very proud of it. Emtee also went on to state that I am only starting to live my life now to the fullest. Growing up, we were very poor at home, and I had to step up and assist my parents as I am the firstborn. While being emotionally Roll Up hitmaker said that before people decided to judge him, they must first understand that he was still just a kid, and a kid who truly did come from nothing but a crime-ridden community, a place where he even lost his best friend to gun violence. The amount of lives claimed by violence in impoverished communities across the world often forces rappers to associate the communities they come from to war zones. In 2017, Emtee will be seen grieving and mourning his late friend Manando on his second studio album, which he named after his fallen brother, Manando. Manando was my ghetto hero who always used to protect me when I was growing up because I was always bullied when I was growing up.
You went to school with Manando, right?
Yeah.
You named your second album after him. Was Manando smacking niggas like that for real?
Yeah. He could have been John Wick without the strength. Without the strength.
For real?
Yeah, without the strength. Yeah.
One thing fans noticed about Emtee was how he managed to deliver quality material without featuring any rappers outside of his table, something that showed the world that he doesn't need to depend on others to produce high quality music and stay relevant. However, 2017 could have gone down as another year whereby Emtee dropped another successful album that continued to give his fans some motivational and touching songs, some that even had fans imagining how much Emtee's fallen brother meant to him. But there did not go down that way. Social media was sent into a complete meltdown on the following month after the release of Manando. Well, screenshots of what was believed to be Emtee's manhood went viral. The man was apparently caught with his pants down when he shared an Instagram video to his then almost 800,000 followers.
We've seen a lot of things go bad on Instagram Live.
Yeah, motherfuckers seen my dick.
Damn. Let's go there then. What happened on that night?
I was balling. I was geeking. I was trying to strike shit.
And when that situation happened, when do you know, oh shit, I fucked up? Immediately there or the next day?
I found out that I fucked up immediately. I'm into the phone is here.
Yeah.
I'm pissing. So now, you know when you done pissing, you're supposed to dust that motherfucker. So after dusting that motherfucker, I don't know why my right hand chose to help the left hand zip up the pants. I even asked, hey, y'all seen my dick? Niggas was like, yeah, we seen that shit. I'm like, damn.
And in true Mzansi fashion, Black Twitter was flooded with memes and comments about the rapper's embarrassing situation, leading him to become one of the most talked about topics at the time, as thousands of people poked fun at the hustler. It's not even 30 Monday, and boom, Emtee Netetolos. No wonder he's dating an Indian chick. They like discounts. I am leaving South Africa. I wake up and see Emtee posting his dick on the internet. At Ambitiouz, take this guy to rehab. And perhaps Emtee should have listened to this fan's warning, as in 2018, the rapper was seen falling on his back while attempting to perform during a music concert. The roll-up hitmaker had to be escorted off stage by security guards and the police, with speculations making rounds that the rapper was drunk or high. Now, with Emtee seen smoking a lot publicly, and in the past the man has said that he was involved with lean because he was trying to get involved and be accepted in showbiz. Disappointed fans were so enraged by the rapper's behavior, even one fan ended up tweeting, "Imagine paying 200 to watch a drunk Emtee fall twice on a stage." Fellow rapper Casper Nyovest also weighed in on the matter, urging the rapper to stop playing with the gift and drop the drugs. "Sometimes we are hated for trying to show niggas the light. God gave us a chance to make something of ourselves. We got families to feed. Let's not play with the gift. That cool shit is done. Drop the drugs," Casper tweeted. However, when Emtee finally broke his silence on the whole situation, the hip-hop star insisted that it was all just a fall and there was nothing more to it. "I'm doing great. Absolutely fine. I just fell. The stage was very small and I had to watch my step. It must have been a wire that made me fall because I wouldn't have fallen out of the blue." The man also slammed celebrities who had spoken out about the incident and called out his record label, Ambitiouz Entertainment, for not taking action. But tragically, something was going on in the big hustler's life. Emtee told his fans that he had recently lost an aunt and her death affected him, although he said that he was fine mentally and physically and did not need any help. "I've been through a lot of things on my own and I don't need to see a doctor," but little did Emtee know that his problems were only beginning. Yeah, true, he didn't need a doctor. However, the man did need help. Well, help in escaping from his controversial record label, Ambitiouz Entertainment. Entertainment started operating in 2015. A majority of its hip-hop artists and others were doing trap, all rap, mostly in their native languages. Even Aries, who raps exclusively in English now, also threw a few celebratory phases in his rhymes during his Ambitiouz days. However, the highly publicized departure of the baby boy doing things, Flame, and Benchmark from Ambitiouz in 2017, well, that was the first of many events that showed the public that not all was well regarding the label's relationship with its artist. Now, I do have a more detailed video that explains how and which artist's career Ambitiouz destroyed, so if you want a more detailed video, you can head over to the description after watching this video, of course. But to quickly get you up to speed with Emtee's part of the video, Ambitiouz was basically taking away everything the man was making. Well, while we saw him giving speeches after winning awards on TV, behind the scenes the man reported that he was receiving a monthly salary of 20,000 rands.
It was a decent amount, no cap. 50k, 60.
Yeah, I mean that's Emtee decent starting.
Nah, that wasn't the starting.
Shit, and you was
More
thinking
than
at
like
this time.
Less, way less.
Damn, so under 20.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, bro.
You feel me?
While on the other hand, the label charged like 100,000 rands for his stage performances, and we aren't even talking about the money he was making from his music, which had to be millions. See, when Roll Up dropped in 2015, everyone in South Africa and their mothers knew the song, regardless of what genre of music you listened to. Well, with massive airplay, the song peaked at number 2 on the local iTunes hip-hop rap chart, and while you and your friends were worried about singing the lyrics of the song correctly, Emtee had bigger problems. First hinting on his social media with the hashtag #FreeMT, the man would later confirm that he was leaving the controversial record label, but he also stated that he wanted to live as clean as possible. However, none of that clean and possible happened, as you all know by now that the man went homeless soon after leaving Ambitiouz. I just kind of go where I can. My family isn't with me. They are with Avery's grandmother at the moment. I miss my kids, but I try to be with them every day. Although it costed him everything at the time he had, Emtee stated that he made the decision to leave Ambitiouz for his own future and to be an example to his kids. I am trying to do this for my kids. I want them to see me as an example. I want them to see that I stick by my word, and I had the balls to leave. Now, as fans, we always take the artist's side. Well, after all the other ones who make the songs we connect with, and in the process we often overlook the fact that none of these artists were ever forced to sign these contracts. Record labels are businesses, and businesses do everything that's necessary to make back the money they usually invest onto artists' careers. But on the other hand, artists are also often criticized for signing contracts while hungry, and it's usually by fans who don't know the hardships faced by emerging talent. We don't live in an ideal world. Sometimes life has to knock us down in order for us to get up and go even further, something Emtee took literally. During Ambitiouz Entertainment, Emtee established his own record label, Emtee Records, in the year 2019. See, while speaking to TMG Entertainment back in 2016, Emtee revealed that he was in the process of starting his very own record label. The man stated that his inspiration for the record label came from him wanting to help develop artists who were copying his sound. There is so much talent out there from across the country, and all I want to do is try to give them a platform to have their music heard. Although he was shy back in 2016 to reveal the name of the record label, well, fast forward to a few years later down the line, Emtee has left Ambitiouz Entertainment in order to finally achieve his long-time dream of owning his own record label, but most importantly, owning his own music. See, after everything that went down with Ambitiouz Entertainment, Emtee wasn't taking any chances with anyone owning his music anymore but himself. However, being independent wasn't for everyone, and after seeing some of the artists that were signed with him back in Ambitiouz not make it big after leaving the label, Emtee went on to state that being independent isn't for someone like me. I need people around me. I need to know where I'm going and what I'm doing. Well, while I feel like he had no direction when it came to the ins and outs of the music industry, at home things weren't looking great either. See, in March 2021, Emtee was accused of gender-based violence during an Instagram live video. At the time, a heavily pregnant Nicole, who is Emtee's wife, revealed pictures of bruises on her arms.
This is what he did to me. But no, why are you hiding that? This is what he did to me. This is what he did to me.
And Emtee will claim that he has never physically assaulted a woman in his life. Well, he was again called out by Nicole in an Instagram post where she shared that she gave birth to their child in May that year, and this was after a stressful pregnancy, whereby during that pregnancy she was also physically abused by an always stressed and always high, Emtee. For the entire duration of my marriage to Emtee, I have never publicly slandered his name. For the sake of my kids and Emtee, I have chosen countless times to keep quiet whilst Emtee publicizes lies about me and my character. Emtee fully knows what he did whilst I was 28 weeks pregnant with his child. It is clear that he has no respect for me as the mother of his children. What Emtee fails to understand is that his kids will be confronted with everything. However, when Emtee's wife later withdrew her statement, stating that she had done it for their children, well, the roll-up hitmaker came out and said that he was the one who was actually being abused, well, financially at least.
In response to the allegations in the report, Emtee said, "What bombshell? Who doesn't know I smoke? I used to sip lean, so what?" He then continued by leveling his own allegations against his wife, saying the person talking never even bought a gum. Ask her where the money she stole is at. When I produce receipts, bank statements, and proof that this person actually just wants money, you won't believe. There was never love to begin with him saying that the plan is to kill him and take his money.
But as the saying goes, dear viewer, do not get involved in two people's business, as Emtee has later stated in recent interviews that him and his wife were okay now. Well, in this case, it seems like Emtee and his wife were just going through a rough phase, huh? But the big house just can't escape false accusations though, as another controversy began when an OF model, as an untold, claimed that the popular hip-hop artist made sexual advances at her during what was meant to be a studio session, it seems.
She hit me up on something.
Yeah.
When can I come to the studio? I wanna rap. I wanna start rapping. Blah blah blah. I remember her. She comes. I play beats. Okay, guys, these are the beats. Spacebar. 2 hours went by. She couldn't come up with nothing. Sechayile phela ngeke simele wena sesirecordile thina. Nothing came out. If it did come out, it was garbage. The worst rapper I've ever met since I was born.
Well, the claims escalated even further as Emtee disputed all the claims made by the OF model. Well, see, the controversy between the two began when Azanian Doll took to her Instagram story to claim that Emtee had been falsely telling people that he had sexual relations with her, which Emtee went on to deny, claiming that he's a family man who had a wife, therefore would not do or say anything of that sort. However, during an interview with a popular podcast channel, Open Chat, Azanian Doll went on to claim that she wanted to clear her name with regards to having any sexual relations with Emtee, as her brand was being negatively affected by the affiliation with someone who had poor hygiene practices. It makes me feel like a loser to be in a situation where it's like you slept with someone who doesn't bath for like 4 days, as Anian Doll claimed. Well, she was basically saying that Emtee was a dirty person, and in response to the model, Emtee took to social media to address the claims made by her. The rapper claimed that he only got together with Azanian Doll because she was looking for a mentor, as she had aspirations in the hip-hop industry. Then this bitch say I didn't bath for 4 days. I picked you up from some danger crib, probably a brothel or something. I don't know. Were you with me for 4 days to discover that I didn't bath for 4 days? Well, when reading Emtee's social media post, it becomes more clear that this OF model was lying about the big. Emtee may be many things, but a nobody he is not. Now, dear viewer, just ask yourself this. Here's Emtee, who's already famous and respected in the industry. Then here is this OF model that nobody has ever heard of, claiming that Emtee is claiming that she is sleeping with her. Now, really? Make that make sense, OF model? Now, why would Emtee risk losing all of his respect by being associated with what? Well, let's call it what it is.
What is something that you think is highly misunderstood about yourself?
I don't know, man. I don't know where people get this thing that, like, you know, I'm some. People think I'm some illiterate, you know, not caring, clumsy.
Yeah.
Like, but it's cool though, because this is what I've always wanted since I was a kid. Like, okay, go ahead, assume.
Yeah.
I like that. One of the things I do very well is just like to prove people wrong.